Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I am immensely pleased to address all of you as the business of this august House commences for the second session of the 9th Mizoram Legislative Assembly. I express my sincere greetings and warm wishes to this House and to the people of Mizoram. I would like to reiterate my government's commitment towards providing efficient, responsive, responsible, accountable, and transparent administration at all levels of governance. My government's vision is to be economically self-sufficient and self-reliant, to assure agricultural and infrastructural growth, to bring about industrial development, as well as to empower our youth through skill development, entrepreneurship programs, and sports. I would also like to take this opportunity to once again commend and appreciate the people's active participation in the electoral process last year. The people's aspiration for change has been unambiguous and clear. They have sought a change in the manner in which the state has run, a change in priorities, and a change in the processes and focus of governance. I assure the people that my government shall make every effort to be true to the mandate. I am confident that under able leaders like you, Mizoram will continue on its path of lasting peace, economic prosperity, and all-round development despite challenges that face us from time to time. I am convinced that with your tireless efforts and your vision for the state and its people, Mizoram will one day take its place as one of the most developed and progressive states in the country, making the dream of Vikasit Bharat or developed India by 2047 come true. Honorable members, the purpose of a budget is to create a conducive economic space and find the resources to achieve various socio-economic objectives. We must remember that every budget strives to create an enabling atmosphere for farmers, entrepreneurs, workers, and businesses to take initiatives for robust growth and ensure that the benefits of growth reach all sections of the population. Whether or not today's announcements make tomorrow morning's headlines matters little, as long as they help in shaping the headlines that describe Mizoram a few years from now. At present, I acknowledge the economic space is constrained and we do have challenges and issues to address in the state of our economy and our financial condition. Due to the small base of our own tax revenue, decreasing post-devolution revenue deficit grant, low level of investment by private sector, and at the same time, to meet higher committed expenditure, the state has to resort to borrowings. Hence, we have a public burden and fiscal deficit. But with every challenge, there is always an opportunity to rethink, reassess, and make way for new ideas and policies. To correct economic headwinds, we need a multi-pronged approach that must include, among others, fiscal prudence, financial discipline, austerity measures, judicious resource management, and effective mobilization. However, we must bear in mind that all these steps cannot bring overnight changes in our economy and better our financial condition. It requires time, hard decisions, and bold steps before getting desirable results. Hence, we must be prepared for at least a year of financial consolidation and fiscal stabilization. Fiscal consolidation alone cannot be effected only by cutting expenditure, but wherever possible, revenues must also be augmented and generated as well. Economic policy, as in medical treatment, often requires us to do something which in the short run may be painful. I must be cruel only to be kind, unquote. We have to improve our macroeconomic environment and strengthen domestic growth drivers to sustain growth. For this, we have to accelerate the pace of reforms, keeping in mind fiscal prudence. I know that mere words are not enough. Time has come to review the allocative and operational efficiencies of government expenditure prudently to achieve maximum output. Our aim must be to transform Mizoram into a truly welfare state which is self-reliant and its development both inclusive and sustainable, and where governance is transparent and participatory. Towards this end, my government is committed to strike a fine balance among the three mutually reinforcing objectives of growth, stability, and equity. The growth rate of an economy is correlated with the investment rate, and I feel that attracting investment is quite an urgent need that we must focus upon. Investment is an act of faith. We need to improve communication of our policies to remove any apprehension or distrust in the minds of investors, including fears about undue regulatory burden. Our ease of doing business must be seen as easy, friendly, and mutually beneficial. I am confident that the Mizoram Sustainable Investment Policy 2024, which was approved by the Council of Ministers on 5th February 2024, will be an earnest step towards attracting investment in various sectors of our economy. This policy envisages creation of investment zones, establishment of industrial infrastructure maintenance fund, terms of land lease to outside investors, sector-wise safeguards for indigenous entrepreneurs, and institutional and procedural frameworks for investment. The policy will aid in attracting diversified investments, create employment opportunities, enhance infrastructure, promote skill development, facilitate technology adoption, and boost the overall socio-economic growth of the state. Agriculture has been the single most important source of livelihood of the rural masses in our state, contributing to about 26% of gross state domestic product. It is an important sector for food security, employment generation, and economic growth. Since a large workforce of our state is engaged in agricultural and allied activities, targeted development of agriculture and allied sectors will be a core priority of my government. I am happy to share that recently the Council of Ministers in its meeting held on 5th February 2024 approved the operational guidelines of Agricultural Market Assurance Fund for procurement of notified crops produced in the state through state-level agencies from farmers' associations, societies, farmers' interest groups, farmers' producer organization, and primary agricultural cooperative societies. Initially, 4 crops, ginger, turmeric, chili, and broomsticks are being targeted. And in subsequent years, I hope more crops may be included. Improving the marketing aspect of agricultural produce by increasing physical market infrastructure and protecting the general interest of farmers will be accorded importance as well. Horticulture, fisheries, veterinary and animal husbandry, and sericulture activities, which are key means of livelihood, will also be given renewed attention. This year, a new hand-holding policy, Banakai, will be launched by my government. This innovative policy will address the issue of availability of institutional credit, particularly microcredit, both for agriculture and small industrial endeavors, which has been a pertinent issue in the past. The policy will be implemented by syncing various programs, schemes, and initiatives of the central government. My government recognizes the need for development, construction, and maintenance of infrastructure in the state, among which road infrastructure is the most important. In a hill state like ours, improving road connectivity has been a major challenge. My government is committed to leave no stone unturned to improve the quality of all roads and to ensure better road networks and connectivity with neighboring states. Improvements of all projects under the road sector are being prioritized. Innovations and new practices in road technology will be incorporated wherever possible. Lack of adequate infrastructure is a major constraint on our growth. Development projects, particularly those related to infrastructure, have to be monitored properly to ensure public accountability, timely completion, and quality control. Mizoram State Project Monitoring Committee, under the chairmanship of the Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, has been constituted on 22nd January 2024 to mandate monitoring of important and major infrastructure development projects. It will be the endeavor of my government to make the state self-reliant in power and energy, with special emphasis on additional power generation through solar and other renewable energy sources. Efforts will be made for improving efficiency in generation, transmission and distribution of power. My government will increase focus on improving all facets of urban life by putting in serious efforts to make the best use of various schemes of the central government and also augment them through available resources of the state to address urban challenges we focus today. At the same time, rural development and poverty alleviation will be the key priority areas, since development will not be inclusive if the pace of development is not the same in rural areas. We must realize the importance of preserving our environment, not only for the present generation, but also for future ones, and the dangers that climate change and global warming pose towards the environment. Economic growth at the expense of environment is not what Mizoram and our country needs, but rather a synergy between the two. Priority will be laid to ensure that opportunities are open for the youth to excel in various professional and vocational fields with necessary incentives and capacity building programs. Entrepreneurship and self-employment will be encouraged, for which necessary training and awareness programs on skill development will be given impetus. The changing economic scenario and rising social expectations require significant changes in our educational programs. The National Education Policy 2020 will be a guiding force in enhancing the quality of education in consonance with traditional values and ethos of Mizo society. For an agricultural and non-industrial based economy like ours, tourism has a tremendous potential in generating revenue and in employment generation. Efforts to place Mizoram as a preferred tourist destination in the domestic and international circuit will be undertaken in a focused manner. Rural tourism can help the rural economy, and special emphasis will be laid to encourage community participation in tourism activities. Simultaneously, various measures for the promotion of industries and industrial activity in the state will be taken up. My government will give priority to providing welfare programs and services to the weaker and vulnerable sections of the society. The menace of drug abuse and drug trafficking that has assumed alarming proportions in our state is one of the government recognizes with all seriousness. Measures will be taken to eradicate these social evils. The government is committed to preserve and promote Mizo identity, tradition, and values. This government will endeavor to work for the unity and brotherhood of all Mizo people living within India and across the globe within our constitutional framework. Since the economy of Mizoram is chiefly agriculture-driven and non-industrial, it has a smaller tax revenue base than many other states. Innovative steps with public support need to be taken to widen our revenue sources and increase revenue collection, since such measures will contribute to the strengthening of the state's economic condition. Our broad vision and strategy need to be growth with equity based on enhanced livelihood options through agriculture and rural development, better resource management, and development of human resources, including relevant skill upgradation. The prevailing economic situation presents a great challenge. It calls for a conscious choice to be made by all of us. Should we allow this drift to carry on and watch helplessly? Should we allow our future to suffer because of our indecisiveness? Should we be victims of mere populism or wasteful expenditure? To me, the response and the remedy are both clear. The task ahead of us is no doubt very challenging because we need to sustain growth, raise and mobilize adequate resources for our developmental needs. On the other hand, the task is simple if we accept the principle that we cannot spend beyond our means. As I have outlined earlier in my speech, we need to introduce fiscal prudence that will lead to fiscal consolidation and discipline. Bold steps need to be taken to enhance economic activity and spur economic growth. I assure you that my government remains committed to bringing about prosperity and all-round development for the people of Mizoram and maintenance of peace and unity within the state. I am confident that my government will continue to receive the continued cooperation and support of the honorable members of the House and of the citizens of Mizoram. Democracy acknowledges diversity, respects dissent, encourages debate, and decides through a government of elected representatives. Neither populism, nor majoritarianism, nor individualism is an alternative way of governance. Finally, I would like to remind this august gathering about our responsibility and commitment to the electorate and make all efforts to observe financial propriety, transparency, and accountability to the public. I convey my best wishes to you once again and wish you very fruitful deliberations. Kalome, Jai Hind.
Rô rèl na chuan fel lo takin in rel tur ani lo mi re thei I thlei tur ani lo wa mi thil ti thei za chuang tur ani lo lalpa chuan rô rèl na fel angai na sia a mi thiang lim te chu a kal san ngai lo kum khoin atan von thatin an oma mi suak sual thate ro chu ti bor alin an omang sam le kan governor zom takin house aron address ta a ala mom hleni a copy kha member hena semni se thange a copy sem chungin member ten hena ngen na session chung hian hola mobile phone hi manarem chang lova akan sia tho to mani se kan remind le ani e kan chang ke memo le motion of thanks a kan kalang kan governor thu saya khan MLA zom tak pi beril van sang in hena tangin motion of thanks kan hua he sub-rule 3 of Rule 17 of the Rules of Procedures and Conduct of Business in Mizoram Legislative Assembly. Tiangin danang slapa mu ania. 10 members om tak pu tilal limpuyan aron thlop boka. Tuna motion nei tu pi beril van isangi members om tak move turin ilo somang u.
Speaker Kalome. With your permission, sir, I would like to move motion of thanks as follows. That the members of the Mizoram Legislative Assembly assembled in this session are deeply grateful to the Governor for the address which he has been pleased to deliver to the Assembly on the 19th of February 2024. Thank you, sir.
Motion of thanks on move ta do not show on presentation of report akan kalanga. Business Advisory Committee in Nisari February nilai ni khan have program session chung kan program tur hi angai to a chuta chuan detail program duana nia tin hi bulletin part 2 a kanron semvek to a member tan in lo mu to karinga Business Advisory Committee report hi hausa karon present a copy semhal ni se semchung in Business Advisory Committee member te hi pu vanal lana Minister zom tak Parliamentary Affairs Department ania tin pulal from kima Deputy Speaker ania tin pulal Sandamaral te Leader of Opposition nia tin pu si ngulian chunga member zom tak ania tin Dr. KB chua member zom tak te anni กันต้องกินหม้อให้เฮียชากันติมาเอ็มกันป้อมปลางทีมาเอ็มชาหม้อหล่อมอเมที่ชวน announcement ทุกปวนตูรกันเนี่ย panel of chairman ตูรเต bulletin part 2 number 20นี่ส่งปังอา February สังนิลสมนิปลีข้ากันรถเซมตัว member เต้นอินลงหูกริงาเฮงมีแต่ฮีตุนเสสนชูงา panel of chairman ตานรวดอันนี้ปากนับปูรัสิกมหันจักมา member สมตักเต้นปนีนับปูเล่าเรื่องสร้างรัลเต MLA ภูเก็ตชาโม MLA เลปีเบริลวันนี้สร้าง MLA เตอันนี้โอเลวันนี้ business ชุกันโลจตากันโจลโดนตัวอ่ะprivate members resolution บลอดข้าดาร์สมปักเล็ดสันเวียนนี่อันนี้โดนนะจุด joint secretary office chamber อันนี้โดนอันนี้นักตุกฮิสเตเดย์นี่วันกันโจลังอ่ะเต็นสุขาริน state day program อดวงอ่ะ member เตอินจะวันกันสมหาลเจ้าว่าจน February นี่สมนิประคัดสังนิเลสมนิเลปลีนี่ลานี่จงมาดาร์สมเลสันเวียกันชุกคอมเลดอนเนี่ย sitting is adjourned